The most common question I've had about the unseen poetry is, what are you talking about with form and structure, sir? Why don't we need to write about it? Well, there is a very compelling reason I'm going to give you in just a second, and then I'm going to give you a reason why it's still useful to do. So here is the compelling reason. The mark scheme in 2019 included language, form, and structure. But in summer of 2020, that phrase was replaced by methods, anything the poet does. In the sample papers for 2022, and I'll link both of these in the doobly-doo below, that same phrase appeared, the methods. Now, why would AQA do that? Normally, I give the lovely people at AQA a hard time, but not this time. This time, I think, ka-ching! Very good idea. Here is why. When you read what students write about structure and form, it is gibberish. They are just chatting. I might put an emoji here to let you know what. This is the sort of thing that you get. Imagine that I wrote a poem about New York, and this is the sort of thing a student would say. They would go, oh, there are interesting lines here of varying lengths. If you turn the poem round, it looks like skyscrapers. Complete rubbish. Imagine I wrote about nature. Mr. Salles loves nature. Well, it's actually my wife's, but there you go. Imagine I've got a nature poem going and I wrote it in 4 stanzas. Mr. Salles wrote this poem because each stanza represents one of the seasons, and the turning of the seasons helps us appreciate nature to its fullest extent. Complete and utter codswallop. You could equally argue that they were representative of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and the apocalypse was coming because of climate change and rising tides and temperatures and rubbish. So students would just make stuff up that they hope would fit. Well, now the examiners are protecting you from sounding like an idiot. What does methods mean? Methods means anything that the poet is doing in the poem to affect how you understand the meaning. So all those language features are methods, and so are any structural features. So let's consider what structure will always come up that I can write about in a meaningful way without resorting to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Number 1, there will always be some repetition, and you just have to stand back and say, okay, what is that repetition trying to make me think or feel? That's what I'm going to put into my essay. There will always be a beginning and an end, and something in the end will change something that was at the beginning. I 100% guarantee that that sort of circular structure will be there. So you take something from the beginning and show how it's changed at the end and how that is supposed to influence how you think and feel. So super important tip, if you're running out of time doing this essay, don't forget to write about the ending. Yeah, jump ahead and write that paragraph about the ending, because that's where the poet's main ideas are going to be and where you're going to score most marks. You will also get a contrast. Good writers do this all the time. On the one hand, they ask you to picture this, and then they ask you to picture something entirely different, or the same thing in an entirely different way. And again, you say to yourself, okay, well, what the hell was that contrast for? I don't know. Calm down. What did it make me think? What did it make me feel? Aha! Now I can write about it. Because there is an important truth that maybe your teachers haven't told you about poems. Poems are not mysteries to be solved. They're not locks to be unpicked. Poets don't write a poem and think, do you know what? I really hope whoever reads this is going to struggle to work out what the hell it means. No, the poet wants to communicate something. They are writing the best words in the best order. So you don't have to go searching for hidden meanings. Like, everything that you see should be actually quite obvious. And it always comes down to, what do I think? What do I feel? I'll write about that, because that's probably what the poet was trying to make me think and feel. And if you think and feel nothing, give yourself a little slap. Wake up, for God's sake, it's an exam. No, that's a little too extreme, isn't it? Give yourself a little slap. Wake up. You're in an exam. Show off your awesomeness. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you feel. Rhyme is a gift. Or should I say, use the gift of rhyme, write about it all the time. Unless, of course, there is no rhyme in the poem, in which case you'd look stupid. Rhymes tend to show compatibility and completeness. They go together. And you can link that to the characters or the meaning in the poem. Or you get half rhyme, words that don't quite rhyme. The consonants match up or the vowels match up, and those are there to unsettle us. There will always be alliteration, and alliteration is always used to emphasize an idea or an experience. What does the alliteration try to make you think or feel? If you're lucky, there will be some sibilance, repetition of the S sound, and that's always used for two purposes, either to recreate a sense of peace or to create something more sinister. Now, including these aspects of structure will definitely get you a higher mark than students who don't, because they will show you have a more complete reading of the poem. That said, you can still get full marks just writing about the quotations and naming the methods in the quotations. You don't need to write about form and structure at all. So don't sit in the exam panicking that you can't find any. So hopefully I can go into the exam and I don't have to think too hard. I know I'm going to write about the change from the beginning to the end. I'm going to have contrast. I'm going to have repetition. I might have some rhyme. I'll definitely have some alliteration. I may have some sibilance. Structure sorted. Now, I hope you're wondering, how do I actually write that in an essay, sir? Well, to find out, check out the video coming up now.